One of the most powerful holdback patterns that everybody practices every day, and it's called procrastination.
This channel is your A to Z decoding your negative life patterns. I will share with you how you can emotionally recognize and break your inherited life patterns that restrain your emotional inner and outer best in your life.
I'm about a week and a bit in, or a weekend, week into my stint round Ireland on my bike and tent, and today is a complete washout. It is absolutely chucking it down out there, full Irish weather. So I'm taking a day to get my bits done, bit of food. I mean, they call it the Nook. I'm on a campsite called the Gateway. Yeah, lovely little place. And let's touch on one of the most powerful holdback patterns that everybody practices every day, and it's called procrastination. Procrastination. One of the most powerful, meaningful, yet empty emotions that everybody plays out on a daily basis. It can be on a very micro level, or it can be on a level that owns you, as it did for me last year. In my deepest part of depression, procrastination was the most highlighted emotion that I couldn't get past. Because making a decision, and I'm talking like a physical decision, an event, making a decision to get myself up off the sofa and move forward into an opportunity to perhaps go out and hike, get on the bike, even make a meal for myself, have a shower, just to look after myself in a way that I would have generally done on a day-to-day basis was incredibly difficult due to the emotion of procrastination. Now, why does procrastination have such a powerful part in depression? Well, because it's a full stop. You can't go any further. Procrastination prevents you from effectively playing forward your past emotions. It won't let you take your hurt into your future. So let's look at that and think, okay, what does that mean? So effectively, let's say, okay, I'm going to put on my backpack, I'm going to out and hike, and yes, it'll make me feel better, but am I taking my past into that event where I'm trying to create a newness for myself, an emotional newness by going out, experiencing the outdoors, because I'm an earthly person being Taurus. So I need to get into that environment. So that going there, but yet taking my baggage with me, actually was only creating a very small change. So you end up procrastinating, not going, not making that event happen, not doing that is what was happening for myself. So I looked and thought, well, why can't I just put my backpack on and go out and do a hike? Because I love being out there. Why can't I do what's good for me? Well, effectively because it's like going into a new relationship but taking your own old relationship with you. It's like leaving someone that wasn't any good for you, remarrying or going into a new relationship, but then replaying all that wasn't good for you into that new relationship. And then effectively that new relationship is becoming paralyzed in itself, and it's being punished because of your past. So procrastination is an emotion that actually doesn't want you to not do anything, but it wants you to take a new energy, a new emotion, and maintain that into those medicated, natural experiences, like for me, hiking. Take it into that experience and give it purpose. Give it reasoning. Give it a future. And procrastination is just merely a highlighter flag in your emotional mind, heart, saying, if you're going to take your past into your future, then we're going to procrastinate you. And we're going to hold you. So you've got to look at your decisions with a little more detail. Now, that's not easy when you're in a deep depression, because trying to look at your decisions is in itself a whole day of thinking, 2 days of thinking, 4 days of thinking, because of the rate of how much you can't think, of how you struggle to get those thoughts and piece them together. Yeah. So when you think about procrastination, I'm on like packed food. When you think about procrastination, you've got to see it for its truest love towards you. I procrastinated because I was sabotaging my future with my past. I was taking all my past into my highlighted good for me future events, or events that I would do for myself that would always uplift me. So effectively, I was retraining what was good for me to be bad for me. I was retraining my events that made me happy with the overshadowing of my disappointments from the past, which effectively then was turning those events into unhappiness, into hardship, instead of enlightenment, instead of energizing. So what I did was, first of all, I made procrastination my friend. And what made me of that is, I didn't see procrastination as something that was just keeping me on the sofa all day, just staring at the dot on the ceiling or watching terrible, wasteful television, or spending hours just scrolling through shorts. I mean, that was just frying my mind and my heart. So instead of feeding my procrastination with that, which affected my past hurt, I looked at my procrastination. I thought, okay, make it work for you. So what I wanted to do is, my procrastination was actually going to procrastinate my past, not my future. Now this was a little complex for me in the beginning. It's like, okay, so I need to not stop my past. My past is important, but stop the sabotaging of my past in the future. So I'm going to procrastinate the flow of it. I'm not going to go back into, I'm going to procrastinate from going back into the past, not procrastinate from building my future. So I'm not going to take that part of the past into my future. So here's the thing, is that procrastination also is fed with guilt. So when you procrastinate, when you procrastinate, you become overcome with guilt. Now, let's remember, procrastination is an emotion that just is wanting you to leave something, to not take hurt into good. That's basically what it's doing. But then we could say, let's say that you had, you've got a beautiful lawn, it's green, it's growing beautiful, and there's weeds that come up and just kind of start strangling it. That's basically what guilt does to procrastination. Guilt is the opposite to what procrastination is, because effectively guilt is you get guilty because you're not doing what you want to do, because you procrastinated out of it. Then guilt feeds depression, and there's this vicious recycling of all this negativity that feeds into, of course, the end result, which is depression. So how do you manage the guilt? Well, effectively, there's a few ways you can approach this, but what I did was to start working with my procrastination on a micro level. So let's say that it was like, okay, do you know what, Paul, I need to get in the shower. I need to clean myself up, and it's like, when you think about the whole task, which is like getting in there, just taking a shower and all, it just seems too much when you're in deep depression. So I broke it down and thought, okay, well, first of all, I deserve to be clean. I deserve to experience the end result of feeling fresh, outwardly, not inwardly, outwardly, because that's what a shower, that's what being clean does. I deserve that. So I broke them down into steps. And then what I did was, so the procrastination, rather than being one big chunk, was just layers of one chunk. By breaking it down into micro levels, or micro events, So I got up off the sofa, done. I then walked from one end to the house to the other, done. Got myself in the bathroom, done. Got myself in the shower, done. All different events rather than one big event. Now that might seem a little extreme for those who've got it all together, but for those who are in a deep depression like I was, that was the only way that I could fulfill some of the most basic of events. Then of course, the thought of going out and doing a 10-mile hike, I mean, that was just seemed light years away. So I did the same thing. I broke the procrastination down. Broke into small, tiny events. Okay, this first. And there's a lot of, people out there that probably already touched on this. In other videos you may see when it comes to procrastination. When we talk about depth is always past. You can't have a depth into your future because your future creates the depth that you remember. So it's always past. So the depth of your procrastination always lies into the depth of hurt that the procrastination is attaching itself to for you not to replay out in your positive future events. Now, also attached to that hurt will be guilt, responsibility, and all other thoughts and emotions that got put there through the negative event of that past. So when you give that thought, it's like, okay, there has to be guilt with any past hurt event because it's either put there from another to ourselves or we feel it because we didn't do enough, which generally then is put there from another to yourself, because you should never feel you haven't done enough. You just feel that you've done. The procrastination that I felt before my depression was just, was camouflaged by my drive, was camouflaged by my eagerness to run into success at 100 miles an hour. I mean, you go on LinkedIn and you will see the amount of business owners that have suffered from mental health duly because they've done everything they can to camouflage procrastination by just being busy people. And procrastination plays a part in everything: marriage, relationship, parenting, money alignment. It plays a role in every single possibility of purpose in your life. But understanding that procrastination is not a negative. It only becomes a negative when you keep feeding the procrastination with what's not healthy for it, which is effectively your past. When I get the feelings of procrastination now, I break it down and look at, first of all, okay, where has the emotion of procrastination come from the events of my last 58 years? And what I mean by that is you're not going to actually find the event, but you're looking for, where's this repeated emotion come from? Why do I not want to make this day a good day for me? Why can't I think out of that, out of physically moving myself from this point A to point B today? Why can't that happen? So let's finish this off. Procrastination is actually not procrastination. Procrastination isn't an emotion that effectively wishes to paralyze you physically through an emotional paralyzation in a state as where you are, where you cannot find the motivation, the mojo to actually get yourself going again and living in life, being in life, active in life. It's the guilt that creates the stop. Guilt is again, it's a made-up emotion that gets passed on to us through other people's disappointment with themselves. They take out on us. So effectively, you procrastinate, which means I want to do this because this feels good for me. I don't do it, now I get guilty, which then that guilt comes from a past event that you didn't fulfill for yourself, that then another was either disappointed with you, you felt disappointed, so on and so on. So when you're in this state of procrastination, especially when you're in a depressive state, know that procrastination wants you to do well. It wants you to move. But it is in a conflict with guilt. Guilt is very different. Guilt is a very powerful growth emotion that takes a bit of time to understand and enjoy. So break it down. Know that your procrastination isn't this whole event. Surgically create small chunks, and you'll find that quickly your procrastination will pay you back positively. If you like what you see, please subscribe or drop me a message. Anything you want me to cover, any subject matter relating to patterns you want me to talk about, drop it in the message box and I'll include it in some of our videos, no worries. Thank you for being here.